The issue I pose here is, do the plaintiffs cynically exploit their workforce for the sake of a fast buck? Are the plaintiffs hostile to trade unions?
We believe companies should be profitable, but profit cannot be the only consideration. And in the case of McDonald, it seems to be absolutely the overriding consideration. The type of work organization promoted by McDonald's, this extreme breaking down of simple repetitive operations and so forth, is essentially dehumanizing.
The McDonald's kitchen is deliberately designed to control workers and offer as little initiative and creativity and voice to the worker as possible. They're basically treated like cogs in a machine.
It enables the worker to be extremely replaceable.
Interchangeable workers,
extreme exploitation of the workforce,
cheap workers,
low skill, low pay,
high turnover,
high stress,
no benefits,
exhausting and unstable jobs.
That's why these are called McJobs.
I love the way you turn it. It's great.
A skilled worker would have to be paid a decent wage. So by having so much elaborate high-tech machinery in the kitchen, the knowledge is being built into the operating system, and you're not relying on the knowledge of any individual worker, and you can get rid of whomever you want.
People want to be part of a winner. They want to be part of something successful. Hard work doesn't frighten youth today, not at all. They want to be part of something that's victorious, something they can see as the shining light.
Good morning. Welcome to Hamburger University.
It's no surprise to me that as many as 2/3 of the fast food robberies are inside jobs, either by workers or former workers or friends of workers. When you're happy with your job, you don't generally try to hold up your employer at gunpoint.
Well, in Ontario, there's 2 minimum wages. There's one for under 18s, which is lower than over 18s, and McDonald's seems to hire huge amounts of under 18s because their wage is a lot lower.
The minimum wage in the United States right now, adjusted for inflation, it's the lowest it's been in more than 50 years. So this is a pay cut for the poorest workers in the United States. The fast food industry has played a large role in ensuring that the poor get that pay cut, and the ripple effect you can see throughout society.
How many billions of dollars do they make profit in a year, you know? If they could maybe give half of that back to their employees, you know, it might be better.
When we argued that in court, the judge kind of intervened and said, you know, the company's owned by shareholders, and if the shareholders don't keep getting these profits, then they won't be shareholders, and then the company will close down. He seems to be sort of completely judging it on their terms. You know, we're entitled to put forward a different view and argue that we want a society that's not run for the benefit of shareholders, but that's run for the benefit of everybody.
When I was a postman, I was secretary of our trade union branch and very involved in trying to improve conditions at work. I remember delivering letters to a McDonald's store, and when I saw how they used to treat their workers, that's when I first thought that there was something really dodgy about the company.
If somebody amongst the crew was a member of a union, or wished to be a member of a union, they would not be allowed to collect subscriptions, would they, from other people in the store?
No, no.
They would not be allowed to put any notices on the notice boards?
No.
They would not be allowed to inform the union about conditions inside the stores?
Well, I don't know how we could stop that. If we found out about it, yes.
Can I summarise it this way? They would not be allowed to carry out any overt union activity on McDonald's premises.
That's absolutely correct, sir.
Can you do better than that?
It got to the sort of stage where I just felt I was going around the twist, continuously thinking about McDonald's. And believe me, it does get mind-numbing thinking about McDonald's the whole time. It had the effect on me of I ended up dreaming about them as well, which was really horrible. I mean, it's more like nightmares. I got a job working in a nightclub. It's just quite a release from the case because it's so busy in there. I work there on Fridays and Saturdays from 10 at night until 3 in the morning, and I get paid £64 a week, and that's basically what I live on.
McLibel Support Campaign.
The McLibel Support Campaign was set up and run by volunteers on a shoestring from someone's bedroom, and they coordinated publicity and protests against McDonald's throughout the trial.
We're getting short of the press releases, are we? Right.
Well, the campaign has raised about £30,000 so far, all from donations from the public. And that gets spent on witness airfares and legal costs and really whatever other expenses come up. I mean, it might sound a lot until you find out that McDonald's have spent about £10 million.
During the time of our trial, McDonald's have made $3.6 billion profits. They've opened a new store every 4 hours and expanded into 31 new countries. It's not just what goes on at McDonald's itself that's the problem. It's that key practices that they've pioneered over the last 50 years are spreading throughout society and becoming the norm.
And those key characteristics would be uniformity, conformity, and control. Control over the worker, control over the consumer, and a very homogeneous culture that tries to stamp out genuine iconoclasm and tries to control what can be said about these companies publicly.
We've invested our lives, especially the last 3 years, have been just constant pressure of administration, of the paperwork, preparations and questioning and all kinds of legal complexities, all down on us all the time.
Principles extracted from the case of Derbyshire are equally applicable.
After court on Friday, I went to the doctors and got a certificate to say that I'm totally exhausted and that I need a break. I just felt totally burnt out and I wasn't really able to carry on. So we're going to be making an application for the court to be adjourned for 2 weeks. Just so much stress, really, that we ended up taking out on each other. It's actually very easy to shift from one document to another.
That's just a fact.
Well, if you took about 2 minutes, you could.
No, I can't. As the case goes on, it's even more difficult just to do the basics in looking after him because I'm just getting exhausted. And and he picks up on it. When he's in the way instead of just being at home and being himself.
So are you glad that your dad did the court case then, or do you wish he didn't?
I'll be doing more things. More things as well.
What more things with him, you mean?
Yeah. And I'll have a bit more toys as well, I think.
How come?
I'll have more time to get a toy.
The doctor recommended that I should have a 2-week rest break, but the judge basically ignored it and ruled that the trial had to continue. 1st of November 1996. McLibel is now the longest trial ever in English history. Certainly feels like it. Nearly 2.5 years already. A bit longer than McDonald's original estimate of 3 to 4 weeks. But at least the end is in sight now.
My lord, the rearing and slaughter of animals is next. Here I express the issue in this way.